After that, in spite of my own anxieties about riding the monorail, I arrived at school without incident. Stepping into the classroom, I saw Shuji. Speaking of, I guess he would have been part of that whole charade. I wonder if he remembers anything about it. Yo, good morning.
Ohayo.
Shuji responded with a sour look. Maybe he woke up on the wrong side of the bed or something. Yeesh! He's acting so much like usual, I can't tell if he remembers anything. Shuji, do you know a girl named Miu?
Miu? 誰だそれ?
Ah, forget it. Guess I was just imagining things. Looks like he didn't have any of those future memories. Which meant that whole emotional spat we had on the beach over Miu's situation was effectively never going to happen now. That was a mixed blessing. An extremely mixed blessing indeed.
何を気持ち悪い顔してんだ、さんずい。
Fuck you, man! I'm at that age.
お前にデリケートなところなんてないだろうが。
Same to you, though maybe there was a time when you acted surprisingly delicate.
は?
As we were chatting about nothing, Makoto came into the classroom.
レイ君、おはよ
Yeah, morning.
ん?
As we said hello, Shuji gave me a look like he'd just seen something unusual happen.
さんずいと城之内は普段挨拶なんてしてたか?
Yeah, we realized we live pretty close together. We've talked a few times.
へえ、変な誤解されなきゃいいけどな。城之内の名誉のために。
Hey!
ああ、そっか。そういうところも戻ってるんだった。
Makoto evidently didn't realize the situation right away. Well, since Makoto wasn't displaying the kind of unbridled affection towards me that she did that time before, I figured things would be alright. Probably.
そういうことで、今度から石田君にも挨拶するから、よろしくね。
ああ、よろしく。
Makoto's sudden desire to talk to us made Shuji stare at her blankly. Ignoring Shuji, I pulled Makoto aside for a quick word. You're still able to act casual towards me in the classroom, are you?
まあね。それより、石田君は今まで通りなんだね。
So I guess this means that the only other people who remember anything are the girls I dated in other timelines?
つまり、レイ君と石田君の禁断の関係は可能性としてもなかったってことだね。残念だね。
If you think you can just say whatever you want to my face like that without me getting mad, have I got news for you?
二人とも顔立ちはそれっぽいし、遠慮のないツンツンした仲良しが女子の一部の間では需要あるよ。
I don't want to hear it.
まあ、私もその辺の子たちとは縁が薄いけど。
Then Makoto looked around the classroom.
DD さんがいないと、なんか教室が普通って感じがするな。
Better enjoy that feeling while it lasts then. Things would definitely get rowdy in here again soon, though I was a little excited for that. By the way, there's a word I need to mention to you, Makoto.
最近、頼みばっかりだね。
Fixers! Winston Wolf types who solve problems. The Junochi family knows a lot of people like that, right?
そういう話?
I want to get Crow some proper documentation. Your family seems to have more friends in high places than mine after all.
ああ、本当にそういう話だった。
Makoto's eyes popped open in surprise after she realized what I meant.
まあ、クロちゃんは犯罪者ってことはないし、なんとかなるかな。そっちの道の人に確認してみるけど、どの道お金はかかるよ。
If money's going to help things out, I'll pay whatever price you name.
うわ、えげつない。
That makes two of us then.
クロちゃんのために手段を選ばないのは好きかな。それじゃあ、今後ともごひいきに。
Makoto showed me a great big smile, then turned to go back to her seat. I had a feeling I was forgetting something though, so I called to her again. Makoto,
何?
try not to drop your lunchbox again.
気をつけまーす。
Yeesh! I gave a short sigh. I was thankful that there were people in this world who could talk about breaking the law so frankly. Then my phone lit up with a new text message received. It was from someone I didn't have listed in my contacts, but one look at the message was enough to figure out who the sender was right away.
お昼休みに屋上に来て。あ、私一人じゃないわよ。みーちゃんも一緒なんだから勘違いしちゃダメよ。
Misaki? She must have gotten my phone number again from Michiru. I sent off my reply of, "As you wish, Your Highness," then saved Misaki's contact info in my phone. Well, I guess I'll just live out my boring-ass normal life in peace until DD shows up. Even while I thought about that, the only thing I could really live out in peace for the moment was my boring-ass classes. Then came lunch break. I went downstairs to buy milk and black tea from the vending machine, then I headed up to the roof.
ねえ先輩、こんにちは。ちょっと遅かったわね。どこかに寄り道してたの？
Indeed I did. I gave the two girls their drinks.
ありがとうございます。また買ってきてくれたんだ。ありがとう。
I couldn't dream of forgetting to treat a couple of cute girls like this.
もうこんな時に変なこと言わないでくれない？
Oh, right. I guess I shouldn't be flirting with them. But that was definitely easier said than done. Then I noticed Miu gazing at me with a serious face, her head cocked to one side. What's wrong, Miu? You didn't want milk?
いえ、牛乳は命の水です。
I doubted it was as serious business as she let on, though.
もしかしてレイ先輩ってすでに何回か時間を戻っていますか？
Huh? Why? I was so surprised, I ended up answering her question with another question.
そういえば以前にも牛乳と紅茶を買ってきてもらったことがありましたよね。先輩と初めて会った頃だね。あの時レイ先輩は私たちのことを調べたって言ってたけど、もしかして2度目のことだったのかなって。
Oh shit! Miu was sharp as a tack, just like always. No, it wasn't really a problem. I just didn't want them to know that I could turn back time by 5 minutes even now. Because if Miu found out about that power I had, the memories I made with her would just seem fake. I gripped the watch in my pocket very tightly without even thinking. Ever since that time on the monorail in the evening where I ended up being sent far back in time, I hadn't tried to test the watch's power even once. I could probably assume that I had lost my power to go back in time 5 minutes. However, the worst thing of all was, even trying to use the pocket watch could potentially summon the goddess known as Chronos. I'd rather know for sure instead of letting it bother me, so maybe I should just give it a try. Although there's probably at least a 90% chance that it won't work.
先輩、さっきから何言ってるの？
I didn't answer their questions, choosing instead to throw the pocket watch to the ground. That still works. With a familiar sensation, time went backwards. Back in the first floor hallway, I must have been on my way to get the drinks. Wah wah! The first thing I felt was surprise. I hadn't expected that the power in the watch would still work. I nervously looked around to see if the goddess Chronos would appear, but even after waiting for a moment, nothing happened. That confirmed another thing for me. Chronos would not hesitate to take my life, but at the same time, she wasn't determined to do so. Even though she tried to kill me before, making use of my power didn't cause her to come after me again. I was truly insignificant to her. I felt a complex mix of fear, annoyance, and relief as I bought the same drinks as before, then headed up the stairs to the roof once again. Then
もしかしてレイ先輩、すでに何回か時間を戻っています？
If this is about me knowing what your favorite drinks are, I actually asked Michiru about it before. The same conversation repeated itself, but this time I wasn't surprised. Plus, I had a better answer prepared for that question.
あ、そっか。お昼はいつも3人で食べてるから、確かにみちるちゃんに聞けばわかりますね。みーちゃんは変なことばっかり気にするんだから。ごめんね。つい気になっちゃって。ついじゃなくて、気になることだらけでしょ。だって気になるんだもん。
We really should drive Mio out to a rustic old town in the countryside where she can't get hurt. Or maybe we could lock her up in a mansion on a deserted island to protect her from her own bad luck.
そのラインナップなら私は絶対に一緒には行かないわよ。
I wouldn't want to go either.
移動手段として豪華客船と飛行機もダメね。
So we are limited to the bus and the train.
そもそも学校がやばいわよね。
Yeah, true. Maybe the Grim Reaper spared her thus far because she's still just a first year.
でもそろそろ夏休みよ。
She should join a movie club over the summer. Maybe she'll set off a flag that way.
結果が楽しみね。二人とも私を行く先々で人が死ぬ探偵みたいに言うのやめよ。
Mio was on the verge of tearing up. With Misaki and I now sated, we turned to the main issue at hand. So, why did you call me up to the rooftop? For some reason, Misaki's face turned bright red and she started stuttering. What's with that reaction? So cute!
変なことじゃないのよ。私はちょっと変な話だと思うんだけどな。だって仕方ないでしょ。まあそうなんだけど。
Anyway, I won't know if it's a strange thing until you actually tell me what we're talking about here.
私に優しくしないで。
What? I was stunned. Me not being nice to Misaki? Stop asking me to do impossible shit like that!
無理なの？先輩はそんなに私のことが大好きなの？
Well, duh! I love spoiling you, Michiru and Miu as much as humanly possible, and when you do something annoying I'm all like, why you cheeky kids? But I'm still having more fun than you could ever know.
レイ先輩、私その評価はちょっと微妙です。誠先輩と DD 先輩を相手にするときはどうなってるんです？
Those two are fun in a different kind of way.
やっぱり私も微妙だわ。
I'm at least 30% joking.
7割本気なんですね。
Of course.
話が脱線してる。
I know, that's because you're talking to me, but whatever, let's just get back to what we were discussing earlier.
自分が脱線の原因だって認識はあるんですよね。あ、ちょっと懐かしく思えてきました。
Mio gave a short sigh. I just enjoy talking to Misaki too much, so I can get carried away. Anyway, Miu, explain to me what she meant.
ですね、みんなで話し合った結果なんですけど、みんながレイ先輩の彼女だった経験があるけど、レイ先輩が誰かと付き合ったら死んじゃうかもってことだから、その打開策が見つかるまで誰もレイ先輩にアプローチしない、恋仲だったことの話も持ち出さないって協定が結ばれたんです。だから私にも優しくしちゃダメなのよってこと。寂しいだろうけど我慢しなさい。私も我慢するわ。
Yeah. I was a little surprised, but I understood. I understand. That was all I could say. So that's how it was. No matter how I looked at it, no matter how many times I thought back over it, there really was nothing else I could say in response to that. They were right. That was what we had to do. I knew that. I know we have to do this. I obediently nodded.
って先輩のことが嫌いになったわけじゃないのよ。
Yeah, it's fine, I understand. Rather, Misaki still liked me too much. Everyone was doing this for my sake, so I wasn't going to complain. But it was a strange feeling. I had decided to get a girlfriend and lose my virginity, and after many twists and turns, there ended up being multiple girls that I had fallen in love with. However, my memories only spanned up to the point where I started dating each of them, so I didn't remember any of the dirty things that would have come after that. Oh, so he doesn't remember the extra scenes, huh? Furthermore, if I got a girlfriend now, I would die. Drag, isn't it? In other words, the rest of my youth would be boring and uneventful, like a can of soda bereft of its carbonation.
そういうことだから、本当は一緒にお弁当を食べたかったけど。なんでもない。それじゃあ先輩、またね。
Misaki showed me a forlorn smile as she headed back into the building. After watching Misaki leave, for some reason, Miu turned to me and smiled.
私も戻りますけど、私とレイ先輩がお付き合いした可能性がないのがちょっと意外で、結構残念ですよね。美咲ちゃんとみちるちゃんには内緒ですけど。
Don't worry, your turn will come eventually. It's a secret between us, right?
もちろんです。
Miu told me that rather surprising thought before following Misaki back inside the school. I had to hold back a grin. There were a lot of different things for me to think about, but first I needed to get lunch out of the way. I had originally been planning on eating lunch with Misaki and Miu, but in the end, here I was left alone under the blue sky to eat on the rooftop all on my lonesome. I could have cried. Then, casually peering over the edge, I saw some sort of strange commotion around the school gate. Wait, don't tell me that's... Change of plans. I took my lunch, went back inside the building, and walked down the stairs. Exiting the building, I found the courtyard had much more commotion going on than the rooftop, which confirmed my suspicions. I continued heading toward the gate. What are you doing, Crow? She's still wearing that? Crow, who was loitering at the school gate, jumped in surprise when I called out to her. She'd always floated before, but now that she was human, jumping was the best she could do.
いや、お主やみちるが真面目に勉学に励んでいるのか気になってな。
So you came here because you were getting bored of lazing around at home then? She seemed unable to be honest about her true motives, so I translated that vagueness into directness.
あの家の使用人たちはひっきりなしに我が輩に声をかけてくるのだ。まったく落ち着かん。
That's either because you're cute or because you seem suspicious to them. Crow wasn't as good at getting along with unfamiliar people as Didi was. So that's why you're at school then?
仕方なかろう。他に居場所もなければ金もないのだ。
Yeah. She was effectively saying the only places she was comfortable being in were places where I was. I couldn't help but be surprised. Perhaps she didn't even realize that herself. It wasn't a bad feeling to have her be so reliant on me, but also a rather strange one.
そういえば、昼食の時間か。
Noticing the lunchbox in my hands and all the people walking around the school grounds, Crow caught onto it. Have you eaten?
朝からはみ出るほど食わされてな。しかも、調子に乗って茶菓子のせんべいも食べてしまったのだ。
Well, I still need to eat lunch, but once I'm finished, we could go for a little stroll.
お主は午後も授業があるのだろ？
I'll skip.
いやいや、我が輩に気を使ってそこまでせんでもよいのだぞ。
You'd just be... never mind. But really, this much should be okay. I almost said that I didn't want to leave her because she'd just be lonely, but I changed my mind and stopped myself mid-sentence. It was true that I had never skipped class like this before, but right now I needed to. I remember all my classes in the first semester being boring as all fuck! I mean, I already knew what questions were going to be on the tests anyway.
なんだ、我が輩のためではなく、お主のサボりの口実か。それなら遠慮することもないな。
Crow smiled happily. Wow, you're simple.
ちょろいとは何のことだ？
Just forget it. Anyway, I'm gonna go eat. I'll be back in like half an hour, so just wait for me.
よく噛んで食べるのだぞ。
I ignored Crow talking to me like a mother would to her child and went back inside the building. Well, if she said so herself, I guess I ought to take my time and enjoy my lunch. But still, it takes some real determination to make a sacrifice of your own like that if it'll make a girl smile. I went back to the classroom, ate my lunch, then took my backpack in hand and stole away.
サボり？
Wah! I was surprised to hear someone suddenly addressing me like that.
何してるの、レイ君？
I don't feel so hot, so I'm going home. She was too sharp.
そっか、体調が悪いことにしたんなら帰っちゃうのもしょうがないかな。で、なんかクロちゃんに問題でも起こったの？
Oh, so you figured that out. It was easy for her to presume that the real reason for my early departure had to do with Crow. I was the one who asked her to look after Crow after all. Well, it's not a big deal or anything.
私も付き合おっか？
I said it's fine, just stay and hit the books.
そうだね。真面目に目立たずが私のモットーだし。
She nodded with relief since she could tell from my attitude that there wasn't anything wrong.
じゃあ、代返しておいてあげるね。
Don't do that.
それなら、もう一つのお手伝いを。
Help? In silent response to my curiosity, Makoto held out her hand. I instinctively stretched out my hand, expecting she had a handshake or something in mind, but she reached past and jabbed me in the stomach instead. Even though she only touched me for an instant, I felt like I'd been socked with a pair of brass knuckles. Ugh. I could feel the cold sweat running down my back. She'd attacked my weak point for massive damage. That E3 2006 Sony press conference reference.
相対するなら、せめてそれらしい伊達男にしておかないと。
Point taken. Even while I was doubled over, clutching my stomach in pain, I couldn't argue with that. In this state, anyone would believe that I was sick. I still had no idea where she'd learned how to do this, but my stomach had more of a dull, throbbing ache to it than a sharp pain. Alright, see you tomorrow.
Ciao!
After receiving Makoto's wonderful little present, I stumbled off to my next destination. Thanks to Makoto's special consideration, every student I saw on my way out of the building shot concerned glances my way.
何を腹を押さえておるのだ？
I ate a little too much. I took my hand off my abdomen once the pain subsided, finally managing to stand up straight. Ugh.
お主も腹ごなしの散歩というやつが必要か？
Since it's such a nice day, we should walk through the park and into the shopping district.
モノレールに乗れないのはちと残念だ。
The monorail? I guess not. I didn't really want to, but I suppose it wasn't all that necessary either. In any case, we need to buy you a cell phone. Of course, I understood why she was happy. But then her expression suddenly turned somewhat anxious.
それなんだが。
What is it?
あいにく、我が輩はお金を持ち合わせておらんのだ。
Crow hung her head apologetically. I'll pay for it.
すまぬ。
That's surprising. I didn't expect you to worry about the money.
何を言う。人の世が
貨幣経済で成り立っていることは観察していて十分に理解しているつもりだ。
I suppose you would know that much, but I didn't know you cared so much about stuff like that.
この体になって食事や生活を成り立たせることがいかに大変か痛感してな。つまり金のない我が輩は人間の世界の最底辺の存在だと気づいてしまったのだ。喉が渇いても自動販売機の数字を睨むことしかできなかったしな。
Well, I guess that's another fun discovery you made. I patted Crow on the head. Well, don't worry about it too much. Even my student self can provide for you.
お主は金を持っているだろう。
I get an allowance from my parents, and I also made use of the watch's power to keep buying lottery tickets over and over until I... Oh, wait. I was forgetting something. I had returned to the moment when I first obtained the power of the pocket watch, which meant my bank account balance was the same as it had ever been. This time around, quite a few things had been undone after all. I didn't have the guts to incessantly buy lottery tickets right in front of Crow, so I'd just have to make do with my meager savings for now. Today feels awfully cold for summer.
急に押し玉ってどうしたのだ？
No, it's nothing. Anyway, let's get going.
待て待て、まだ我が輩は歩くのに慣れておらんのだぞ。
I started walking in order to hide the expression I made upon realizing the pathetic amount of money I had at my disposal, and she hastily chased after me. From the perspective of the sundial, we'd set out from the school at 6 o'clock, heading in the direction of the station and shopping district at 12 o'clock. Naturally, this meant we were walking due north. I bought some tea for Crow on the way, since she said she was thirsty.
何か仕事をして金を手に入れなくてはな。
Crow's topic of conversation didn't change at all as we walked. It was only natural that she would worry about it, considering her savings and income were both nil. Hey Crow, I don't mean to say having a job is a bad thing here, but don't you want to try being a student first?
ん？学生？
Schools exist so that people can learn things like skills for work, how to get along with other people, and how to work in groups.
我が輩もそう理解している。
So usually people are students before they enter the workforce. I'm a student right now too, but I'd prefer not to have you worry about money while you're in school, so I can give you an allowance to cover your expenses.
道理にはかなっているし、ありがたいが。
But what?
その。
Crow suddenly started fidgeting. What? Is there still something else you are worried about?
いや、その、なんだ。学生にはなっても良いのだが、条件があって。
Something more important than money? Are you worried about food?
我が輩を DD と一緒にするな。その、お主と一緒にいられるのなら、学生になっても良いのだが。それは高望みか？
Aww.
一人で家にいるのは心細くて、お主のそばにいたくなったのだ。
Aww. I was at a loss for words. Talk about a pickup line. I knew that Crow didn't have any other choices besides me, but it still made my heart beat faster. I was thinking about putting you in the first year class with Michiru, Misaki and Miu, but you would rather be in the second year class with me?
それがいい。
Crow nodded. Those were her genuine feelings. Well, if she did make any major blunders in a new setting such as school, I suppose it would be better for me to take responsibility for her. Alright, then we'll walk to school together once I get the paperwork taken care of.
ドキドキするな。
Crow showed me a smile of uncertainty and excitement. To tell the truth, I felt that same mix of uncertainty and excitement. This was something new for Crow, a possibility with an outcome she couldn't foresee. We kept walking until we got to the park. Just as DD had done in another time, Crow heaved a short sigh, even though we hadn't walked very far. Are you okay?
まだ歩くのに慣れていないのと、お主らが暑い暑いとうるさかった理由が実感できるというものだが、動かずにじっとしているより気分が良い。
Depending on the humidity, it can feel a lot worse. I took care not to walk too fast since I had a girl walking with me, but even then, Crow's gait was quite a bit different from my own. Now that I look at you from this perspective, you are actually pretty short. I compared her height to mine once again. Yesterday had been so hectic, such an ordinary thing as her height had never occurred to me until now.
我が輩もいつもはお主を見下ろしていたから奇妙な気分だ。
I guess you'd compare to Miu or Misaki size-wise then?
そうだな。あの二人と向き合っている時だけは首が楽だった。
Then I found my gaze unconsciously directing itself to Crow's chest. Size-wise, eh? Miu was drinking milk desperately to make gains in that area, but Crow might be the smallest of them all. They could be measured just with the naked eye. It was kind of hot how low cut that outfit was, but I guess it probably made them look bigger than they actually are.
何の話だ？
A man's hopes and dreams.
お主のロマンや哲学など本にしたためて人知れず噴射してしまえ。
She glared at me scornfully, but on Crow's face, even that expression was cute. That reminds me, Crow, I'm still able to make use of the power in the watch, but will it be alright?
ほう、その時計はまだ本体とつながっておるのか。それはそれで、お主の命を考えれば良くない話かもしれんがな。
Ah, I see. If the goddess Chronos had lost all connection with me in this world, then that would have been the end of that. I took out the pocket watch for no particular reason and juggled it back and forth between my hands. Either way, I won't be able to use it as casually as I was before, since I don't know what could happen.
そういえば、お主はこれまでの所有者に比べてあまり時計を使わんな。
Oh, you really think so?
どうでもよいことにはためらいなく使うくせに、肝心なところではほとんど頼らなかっただろう。
I guess I'm just stubborn about those things. A grin crept onto my face. This time around, I probably wouldn't use it for anything aside from things of no importance again. Crow's eyes popped open.
つまらん意地だ。だが、今までのお主のつまらん考えが、我が輩にも少しだけ分かったような気がする。
Crow gave a sardonic laugh, then looked up at the blue sky. I followed her gaze there. Summer's blue sky. There was just one little thought I had on my mind that I figured was best not to say to Crow right now. I'd always envied Crow, because I would have much rather preferred to have her power to float through the sky over the power to turn back time. If only I could try it just once. To swim freely through such a lovely summer sky as this, surely it must be a wondrous feeling. For all of us who walk upon this earth and find ourselves able to do nothing more than look up at the sky, that is the greatest dream of all.